which manifests through Brahma. But Vedic scriptures are eternal. They're always present. But just like sun appears in the morning, it's not that sun is taking birth in the morning, it's always there. Similarly, Vedic scriptures are eternally present, just like Lord is. At the same time, Lord, at the beginning of creation, he speaks. That's called Shruti. Shruti is actually the word of God. It's word of God. Now, some great sages who hear the word of God, they understand it very well. They follow, they are able to apply it, they are able to see the effect of it, they're able to even realize it. And they explain that same word of God in much easier way. Like Puranas, for example. They are all smritis. Itihasas, like Ramayana, Mahabharata, they are all smritis. Because they are spoken out of realization by a great, well-qualified sage. Valmiki, Vyasa, or similarly, Srila Rupa Goswami. So this is Vaishnava Smriti or Gaudiya Vaishnava Smriti. This and Nectar of Devotion. You have one Shruti in your course, which is Ishopanishad. It is a part of Veda. It is a part of Yajurveda. There is one Smriti, but it's also called Shruti because it is spoken by Krishna only. Bhagavad Gita. And these two are very important Smriti books. And they are for application. Nectar of instruction and nectar of devotion, they are for application. Ishopanishad and all, they are for understanding. You will not get much application. Direct day-to-day devotional life, you will not get much. But here you will get direct day-to-day devotional application. So in that sense, it is very, very relevant for practicing ISKCON devotees. So we'll tell this one line, one stanza from Shad Goswami Ashtakam, which tells the glories of 6 Goswamis. Nana Shastra Vicharanaika Nipunau Sadharma Samsthapakau. Say. Nipunau Sadharma Samsthapakau. लोकानां हितकारिणौ त्रिभुवने मान्यौ शरण्याकरौ त्रिभुवने मान्यौ शरण्याकरौ राधा कृष्ण पदारविन्द भजना नन्देन मत्तालिकौ Together. Vande Rupa Sanatanau Raghuyugau Shri Jiva Gopalakau. Can you read translation?
6 Goswamis, namely Sri Rupa Goswami, Sri Sanatan Goswami, Sri Raghunath Bhatta Goswami, Sri Raghunath Das Goswami, Sri Jiva Goswami, and Sri Gopal Bhatta Goswami, who are very expert in scrutinizingly studying all the revealed scriptures with the aim of establishing eternal religious principles for the benefit of all human beings. Thus, they are honored all over the 3 worlds and they are worth taking shelter of because they are absorbed in the mood of the gopis and are engaged in the transcendental loving service of Radha and Krishna.
So, especially their quality of expert in studying and presenting it to the world. Their aim is to establish eternal religious principles. Sadharma Samsthapakau, Nana Shastra Vicharana, Ikanipuna. Srila Prabhupada would often, especially this one stanza, he has quoted many, many times in glory of the 6 Goswamis. So all of you have studied so far 5 verses of Nectar of Instruction. Very, very practical instruction. You all, I have to anyway memorize. Can we do it together? You have the book with you? Ah, that's okay. What can be done? Huh? Best is to carry, you see, like when I did my Bhakti Shastri around 12, 13, my notes are still there. So you can, if you have book like this, it's always a wealth. Of course, you can make notes and preserve on drive, whatever. But if you have it, it's very, very helpful. So try to have physical book. Huh? We'll do text one. Together we will do. Vacho vegam manasah krodha vegam jihva vegam udara upastha vegam etan vegan yo vishaheta dhiraha sarvam api mam prithvim sashishyat अत्याहार प्रयासश्च प्रजल्पो नियमाग्रह जनसंगश्च लौल्यं च षड्भिर्भक्तिर्विनश्यति उत्साहान्निश्चयात् धैर्यात् तत्तत्कर्म प्रवर्तनात् संगत्यागात् सतो वृत्ते षड्भिर्भक्तिः प्रसिद्ध्यति ददाति प्रतिगृह्णाति गुह्यमाख्याति पृच्छति भुङ्क्ते भोजयते चैव षड्विधं प्रीतिलक्षणम् टेक्स्ट 5 कृष्णेति यस्य गिरितं मनसा द्रियेत दीक्षास्ति चेत् प्रणतिभिश्च भजन्तमीशं शुश्रूषया भजन विघ्नमनन्यमन्य निन्दादिशून्यहृदमीप्सित संगलब्ध्या. So text till text 4, they are very, very practical instructions. From text 5, the instructions on subtler practice. You know, say text 4, you had practice of what you should not do in terms of actions. You know, vacho vegam, control your talk, control tongue, all that. In second, there was atyahar, prayas, very gross. Huh? Then utsaha, nishcha, tat karma pravartan. There both were there. Tat karma pravartan are all actions. And in fourth one, you give gifts, take gifts. Huh? You give prasad, serve prasad, accept prasad. And then you reveal your heart. Guhyamakhyati pricha. And then you also hear them. That's also there. So these were all gross. From fifth onwards, what is fifth one? It is talking about how to see different grades of devotees. You may remember that terminologies. Any of you recollect? Kanishtha, Madhyama, Uttama. There are various definitions of it. How one behaves, what is one faith on holy name, what is one's understanding of Shastra. There are many, many ways of defining those three terms. Okay, I'll not go to that because that's a very big subject. I believe you had a very good discussion on it. So text 6 we will take, text 6. He told me that you all had already read it. Correct? एक बार पढ़ा था ना आपने? So it will not be very new. दृष्टै स्वभावजनितैर्वपुषश्च दोषैर् न प्राकृतत्वमिह भक्तजनस्य पश्येत् गंगाम्भसां न खलु बुद्बुदफेन पङ्कैर् ब्रह्मद्रवत्वमपगच्छति नीरधर्मैः. So, very interesting verse. This verse also talks about how should be one's internal cultivation. How one should cultivate his especially vision. That's why it starts with drishtai. What is the normal vision? What should be vision of a one who is practicing devotional service? So the normal vision is what? It is told swabhava janitair vapushascha doshair. So this word swabhav, what do you understand by this word swabhav? It's very, very commonly spoken, but it has many meanings. स्वभाव, ये इसका स्वभाव है ऐसे। हाँ, nature. Can you give little description of that nature? Yes, you want to say? When you define someone's nature, what it means? Huh? Passionate by nature. मतलब ज्यादा एक्टिव, हाँ, एक्टिव, एनर्जेटिक, हाँ, हाँ, affectionate, or how he is very kind, cordial dealings, they say, huh? Or someone very rash, very angry, temperament, you know, so hot tempered, whatever they say, huh? ऐसा ये बोलते हैं, right? It's like that. So swabhav. Usually swabhav has two meanings mainly. What you consider as swa, then accordingly bhava of it is defined. If you consider swa as body, swa, then the bhava, swabhava is the nature of body. Swabhava. The body here doesn't mean what is there externally. It also means mind. Subtle body भी आ जाता है इस पे, है ना? उस व्यक्ति का mental disposition कैसा है, many things, ego, all this comes into picture. So when we say swa as body or matter, then swabhava becomes his material nature, his conditioned nature, we say it. But when we say swa as soul, then swabhava becomes the nature of soul. What does it mean? Satchidananda, yes, service. We say the nature of soul is to do service, is to love the supreme, we say ना. तो वहां पे स्वभाव का मतलब क्या हो जाता है? It's a eternal nature, which is to serve Krishna, to serve with love and affection, devotees of Krishna, all that comes. So here swabhava means the bodily nature, the material nature. So janitair, janit, matlab that which is born from one's swabhava. What? Vapushascha doshair. Vapu means, see word to word meaning. Vapu, body. And especially it is told dosha, fault in the body. What kind of fault? Prabhupada will tell it. So one who sees, here it's talked about devotees. One who sees a devotee as having faults. What type of faults? Bodily faults, which have arisen because of his material body, swabhav. So one who sees like that, actually he should not be seen like that. The advice told is na prakritatvam. One should not see such a person as prakrit. Prakrit matlab bhautik. Bhautik. इहा भक्त जनस्य पश्येत. भक्तजनों को ऐसा नहीं देखना चाहिए, प्राकृत लोगों के जैसे नहीं देखना चाहिए. That's the advice. Like example, Ganga ambhasa water. Like Ganga water, even though it is having budbuda. Budbuda means bubbles. Fena, foam, pain. Soap is called Fenaka, I think, in Sanskrit, something like that is there. Pankair, panka matlab mud. Like there is this word, na, pankaj. Pankaj matlab lotus, that which born from muddy water. Pankair. So Ganga pani agar wahan pe, the bubbles are there or some foam is there because of impurity or whatever water, and mud, still one will understand it as Brahmadravatvam. See, what is the meaning of Brahmadravatvam? The transcendent. So anything you add Brahma, that word, like Jagannath is called Daru Brahma. Prasad is called Anna Brahma. Kirtan is called Nada Brahma. You understand? Brahma jodte. So Brahma matlab that becomes transcendental, spiritualized. So what becomes spiritualized? The drava, the water. Drava means water, liquid. It has become spiritualized. Brahmadravatvam. It's not prakritatvam. It is Brahmadravatvam. Then one should actually oversee all the nira dharmai, the like normal water which has faults of if water is kept for long in one place, there is some bubbles coming, there is some smell coming, is it not? So one should not see Ganga water like that. That's the advice to read translation.
Being situated in his original Krishna conscious position, a pure devotee does not identify with the body. Such a devotee should not be seen from a materialistic point of view. Indeed, one should overlook a devotee having a body born in a low family, a body with a bad complexion, a deformed body, or a diseased or infirm body. According to ordinary vision, such imperfections may seem prominent in the body of a pure devotee. But despite such seeming defects, the body of a pure devotee cannot be polluted. It is exactly like the water of the Ganges, which sometimes during the rainy season are full of bubbles, foam, and mud. The Ganges waters do not become polluted. Those who are advanced in spiritual understanding will bathe in the Ganges without considering the condition of the water.
So in the Shastras, to convey one abstract concept, there are examples given. You have to understand these examples properly. That's why this is one of the ways of assessment also. That's why I'll take a little time. Usually there are two things, two scenarios being compared. There are some common items and there is one underlying principle. To say a simple example, we say this example, no, fish out of water. You know what it is compared to? Fish out of water cannot be happy. Have you heard this? What it is compared to? The soul who is out of spiritual world or spiritual atmosphere cannot be happy. So the fish is compared to what? Soul. Water is the spiritual atmosphere or the spiritual position. The underlying principle is no happiness if it is in unnatural situation. That's the same. So similarly, someone please help with this example. What is compared with what and what is the principle told? You got my question? The example in this shloka translation, there is example, no, Ganga and devotee. So you have to draw what is matches with what and what is that common principle in both these situations. Please attempt. Yes, start. Ganga is compared to body. Okay, body. Yes, anything else? Thank you. Any other aspect of this example? Speak in mic. इसको join audio नहीं करना चाहिए. Problem.
So a devotee's body is compared to the Ganga water, and when we are seeing the mud, bubbles and foam in Ganga water, we should not consider it impure. So the same will be applying to a devotee, that when we will see the materialistic bodily aspects, and if we are seeing the body of a devotee's bad complexion or whatever it is deformed, so we should not consider it as impure or it is not in its original mundane. So we should consider it spiritual as itself.
Krishna Prabhu told it very well. The body, Ganga water, the defects in Ganga water compared to the defects in the body of a Vaishnava because of Swabhava Janit. But Ganga water, is it not taken benefit or is it not respected or one doesn't take bath? No, one still takes advantage of Ganga's association. It's very pure. It's told even in materially speaking also, Ganga water doesn't get spoilt. It is told like that. There are some documents of British records which say that they used to carry water of Ganga from Calcutta to London. So they consider it very, very, it doesn't get spoiled like other water which smells after storing for some time. So the point is, the purity of Ganga water is not disturbed or is not affected by that foam, all that. Similarly, the purity of a Vaishnava is not affected by the bodily defects. That's the principle. Okay. So, like this, in every analogy you study, you should make this point. This is the way to study. No, you have to compare the Purva, Para both properly and draw the common line of understanding. And then this will be tested in your assessments. I'm just taking time. You had a point?
Like we said, when it is written, when being situated in original Krishna conscious position means like, we can say pure devotee.
Who is that devotee? Is he just a sadhaka or is he pure devotee? That's what your question is?
No, my question is, so can we call him a pure devotee, like sadhaka in a very high position, high elevated position?
We'll discuss that. Which type of devotee is being taught in this shloka?
Because being situated in his original Krishna conscious position means he is very elevated, let's say. So means when we say deformed body or a diseased body, we say that it is because of previous karmas. But being situated in original Krishna conscious position, the karmas are already destroyed.
Good question. Good. We'll come to that. We'll anyway come to discussion. So how is it that he still has defects? He is already in original Krishna conscious position. That's his very nice thought. Good question. Tell me.
So, Prabhu, in the previous verse, we discriminate. One who is initiated, we should go down to
Correct.
him. One who's not, maybe so we should mentally
Offer
obeisances.
respect.
And over here, they're saying do not discriminate
Mm.
by bodily features. So, how do we understand exactly
Yeah.
the same question?
So very nice. So in the earlier shloka, there was some different behavior suggested when we see different types of devotees. But here it is told you should not see bodily defects. You should respect. You should take benefit association of his like that. Okay, we will come to that discussion. But just to address his question because it's connected to the earlier shloka. See, if you see the flow of nectar of instruction, it's put very, very scientific. It has only 11 shlokas, but it takes someone from very deep material attachment up till Prema Bhakti in just 11 shlokas. So we have to understand the flow of it. The first one was for general spiritual practitioner, be it jnana, karma, any path. He should control his speaking, control his eating, control his, udara upastha vega, all that. That's now second onwards, it's specifically for bhakti yogis. There onwards, it's told sangha, satsanga, jana sangascha laulyam cha shadabir bhakti vinashyati. Do not take materialistic association. And third one again tells about association. That's very specific for devotees. So from second onwards, devotees, how they should practice. Now, fourth one told very important principle of bhakti, that is association of devotees. That is the crux of the practice of bhakti. Now, after told how to associate, 6 ways you associate, then it is told among the devotees, there are different types. Someone who might be just coming very casually to temple, Hare Krishna, and then he still has, all types of habits, attachments and all like that. Now, what do you do? Or someone who is very nicely, regularly coming, chanting and all, he's struggling. How you behave. Someone who is a great, dedicated practitioner, preacher, like that, sannyasis, maharajas, how we behave with them. There is gradation. Now, here what is taught is, this is telling about a devotee. Now, what type of devotee? It was his question also. I'll come to that little later. This is also connected to how to see a devotee. So 4, 5 and 6, these all 3 shlokas are connected to association of devotees. Some 7th onwards, again, holy name will come from ahead. So how important is association of devotees? That is being explained. Okay. So when it is told, do not see the defects in the body of devotee, it is not referring only pure devotee. It is referring to someone who has taken to sadhana bhakti with the right understanding. I'll just answering in brief, but it will come now. Exactly, I'll come to it. So let us see the purport. The purport has these themes. broad themes. I will say where exactly it is starting. The first theme starts right from the first paragraph only. Purport. Read. Anyone? Take turns in reading and we'll pause where needed. Book देता हूँ. हाँ. ठीक है ना language?
Purport. Shuddha Bhakti, the activity of the soul proper. In other words, engagement in the transcendental loving service of the Lord
Hmm.
is performed in a liberated condition. In Bhagavad Gita 14.26, it is stated,
Mom.
Mancha Yodha Vichorana Bhakti Yogina Sevita Sab Gunan Samati Tyana
Hmm.
Brahma Bhuyaya Kalpate.
One who?
One who engages in full devotional service, who does not fall down in any circumstance at one transcendental the mode of material nature, and thus comes to the level of Brahman. Avibhicharini,
Avyabhicharini. Have you heard this word व्यभिचार? सुना है आपने? हम 4 vows में भी लेते हैं ना, व्यभिचार नहीं
व्यभिचार,
करना.
हाँ.
व्यभिचार मतलब being dishonest or disloyal, है ना? So व्यभिचार basically means no loyalty. So avyabhicharini means fully loyal. Like a wife should be loyal to husband, husband should be loyal to wife. But here a jiva should be loyal to the Supreme Lord. He should not become disloyal to the Supreme Lord, in the sense he should not take to other paths. He should be loyal to Krishna, serving him. That's called avyabhicharini bhakti. मतलब वो भगवान पे बहुत निष्ठावान है. That's the meaning. Okay. So it doesn't mean that he doesn't have anarthas. No. He has anarthas, but he is very nishthavan. Avyabhicharini. So it is called unalloyed devotion. So see, there are two things. One is what is his abhilash. Understand abhilash? क्या वो इच्छा करता है भक्ति करते समय, है ना? और दूसरा होता है उसका स्वभाव. दो चीजें होते हैं हमारे. एवरीवन one's personality has two things. One is abhilash, another is swabhav. Abhilash matlab, if we have to give an example, a person who comes to Krishna with a desire to get wealth. Clearly abhilash is wrong. Correct, na? His abhilash is materialistic. Someone who comes to Krishna to serve Krishna, he has abhilash which is spiritual. He wants to seek some spiritual facilities for serving Krishna. You know, this is perfect. This is spiritual abhilash. But that person may have material swabhava still. You're getting this? One may have pure abhilash, but may be impure in swabhava. Swabhava in the sense his behavior sometimes is little erratic. Sometimes he acts little wrongly because of some past habits, because of some past impressions. Habits, वो अविद्या चला गया, पर वो marks, impressions जो रहते हैं ना, जिसके कारण वो कभी-कभी वो भटक जाता है. But his abhilash is never disturbed. नहीं. Lord Krishna is the supreme personality. Devotees are my well-wishers. I will never leave them. No matter I sometimes not able to practice, but I understand these are very good. Sometimes I'm not able to practice, but I will never disrespect. This is called, in this terminology, avyabhicharini bhakti. समझ रहे? हाँ? So in the sadhana bhakti stage, one has pure abhilash, but swabhava is still getting purified. वो purify हो रहा है ना? That's the question actually you're asking. No? How is it that he has still faults of the body? So I will come to that faults of body specifically a little later. So one who has taken to bhakti with the right understanding, with that nishtha, for him Krishna says he will rise in his swabhava very soon. He will come to spiritual position. Like that he's assuring here. Can you read ahead? Avyabhicharini bhakti.
Avyabhicharini bhakti means unalloyed devotion. A person engaged in devotional service must be free from material motives. In this Krishna consciousness movement, one's consciousness must be changed. If consciousness is aimed toward material enjoyment, it is material consciousness. And if it is aimed toward serving Krishna, it is Krishna consciousness. A surrendered soul serve Krishna without material consideration. Anyabhilashita shunyam.
See, this word came, abhilash. है ना? It doesn't have anya abhilash. Anya abhilashita shunyam it is. The word is told as shunyam. Jnana
Jnana karmadya
anavritam.
anavritam. Unlike devotional service, which is transcendental to the activities of the body and mind, such as jnana, mental speculation, and the karma, fruitive work, is called pure bhakti yoga. Bhakti yoga is the proper activity of the soul, and when one actually engaged in unalloyed, uncontaminated devotional service, he is already liberated.
एक minute इधर ना. See, we all know this ना. The coverings of the soul, the gross body, subtle body, they are the coverings. What are they are made up of? Now, accordingly, the spirit activities also are there. Like say, suppose I lift some weight, and small boy is not able to lift some weight. What is the activity of? The activities of the gross body. उसका ग्रॉस बॉडी इतना डेवलप नहीं हुआ है, इसलिए वो उठा नहीं पा रहा है, पर मैं उठा पा रहा हूं क्योंकि मेरा बॉडी ग्रॉस बॉडी डेवलप्ड. नाउ समवन is able to remember something. Yesterday, last week's class, this happened. Yeah. You know, and someone is not able to remember, say in his regular studies or like. This is function of what? Which type of body? Subtle body. And that subtle body's function is dependent on past life. है कि नहीं? वो कभी मतलब जन्मों से आता है ना, subtle body तो change नहीं होता है, वही रहता है. Gross body change होता है, right? So these are different activities of different bodies. When we say karma, karma, like someone who is able to chant nicely shlokas, Veda mantras, karma kand करते हैं ना वो, या वो भी spiritual activity जैसे दिखता है वो, but actually it is activity of what? Gross body. Gross body. तपस्या कर रहे हैं. Gross body, the body is able to give him that, he has that strength of like Hiranyakashipu is doing tapasya. It is function of soul? No. It is function of his body. Willpower, that's true. But that willpower, see, there is when we say body, gross body, subtle is also involved in it. But at the same time, gross body has that power, no? Like small child, he may have the willpower, but he may not have the gross bodily capacity. Correct? So both are necessary, but primarily it is an activity of gross body. उस दौर से देख रहे हैं. अभी सटल बॉडी का, अभी ज्ञान योग, लोग जो सब कुछ विवेक से देखते हैं, they discriminate, oh this is like this, they think, so that is the jnana marg. Jnana marg is the activity of subtle body, mind. उनका मन का ही स्ट्रेंथ है ना, बुद्धि का और मन का स्ट्रेंथ से वे चलते हैं, like that. But if you see Bhakti Yoga, it is described by Prabhupada, just now he read it. Bhakti Yoga is the proper activity of soul. It's not told that it is activity of body. It's not told it's activity of mind or intellect. What it is activity of soul. So if it is activity of soul, the defects of body will not affect, will not determine the performance of bhakti. That is the point. Yeah. It's little technical, but I hope you are able to make that difference. समझ आ रहा है? ठीक है? Continue.
Krishna's devotee is not subjected to material condition, even though he is bodily featured, may appear materially conditioned. One should therefore not to see a pure devotee form from a materialistic point of view. Unless one is actually a devotee, he cannot see another devotee perfectly. As explained in the previous verse, there are three types of devotee: Kanishta Madhyamadhikari, and Uttamadhikari. The Kanishta cannot distinguish between a devotee and non-devotee. Non-devotee. He is simply concerned with worshipping the deity in the temple. Madhyamadhikari, however, distinguish between a devotee and non-devotee, as well as between the devotee and the Lord. Thus, he treats the supreme personality of a Godhead and the devotee and the non-devotee in different ways.
different ways. So those who have this vision that Bhakti Yoga is an activity of soul, huh, they are in the level of Madhyamadhikari and above. You're getting? This is called spiritual vision, vision of the soul. So in the lower stage of Kanishtadhikari, one is not able to differentiate. Sometimes he quarrels also. Huh? अरे देखो मैं ऐसा पूजा करता हूँ. In other terms, whatever we do by our body, we compare with others. You know, see, I am able to recite so many, it's a very gross comparison, is it not? Huh? So that kind of competition, quarrel, it's sometimes seen in the stage of Kanishta Adhikari stage. That's why that when you read last time, it was told that he would quarrel with devotees, huh? He would have sometimes envy, all that. That all comes in the stage of Kanishta. So Prabhupada is telling that Madhyama and Kanishta. Now onwards, he describes about how a devotee's bodily defects should be seen. They are visible. Somebody is, it is told in the scriptures that the body is the effect of, they say, called as prarabdha. Have you heard this word? Prarabdha. यहाँ पे marker है क्या by any chance? Marker. So this concept comes in Nectar of Devotion, but nonetheless, it's we can understand it little. When we commit, when we do any activity, what all kind of results come? It is told there actually. So the first thing, say suppose a person commits a sinful activity, एक पाप करता है कोई, तो उसको क्या परिणाम होता है? What happens to him? So it is told in the scriptures that there are two types of reactions which happen. दो तरह के उनका प्रतिक्रिया होता है. हाँ? So, first what is called up. So what happens? So what happens when he does pap? It's described that the two kinds of reactions. One kind of reaction is called prarabdha. Another kind of reaction is called aprarabdha. So prarabdha, aprarabdha, what does it mean? It is described. Prarabdha means what is visible to you, what immediately you see effect. Like say suppose you put hand in the fire, you immediately feel burning, right? That's prarabdha. Getting? Like say suppose someone touches a sharp knife, he mishandles it, blood comes, immediately blood comes. Now imagine same way, someone smokes a puff cigarette. थोड़ा कफ आता है ना, खसता है वो थोड़ा, पर बाद में ठीक है. प्रारब्ध is not immediately seen. You getting? But if he does it after some time, he will get effect, right? So the second type of effect for such activity is aprarabdha. It is not immediately seen. It is called in English unmanifest. Unmanifest reaction. This is manifest reaction. Manifest, you understand, right? Prakat. So any action we do, be it sinful, be it pious, it has two types of reaction, manifest, unmanifest. Now ये unmanifest जो रहता है, it is not just like that. It progresses ahead to something more. Like say suppose he has done some bad activity, sinful activity. अगर किसी ने सही में चोरी किया, तो पकड़ा नहीं गया, ठीक है, very nice. He was not caught. So Prarabdha was not seen, very nice. He stole some money from neighbor's house somewhere. But interesting, Aprarabdha has already, it has come. It is not visible yet. Now, what it will become? It is told that it becomes what is called as Kuta. मतलब ये एक mental condition हो जाता है, एक sinful disposition बोलते हैं इसको. It's called. So if one does sinful act, he will get sinful disposition. मतलब एक पाप करने का एक प्रवृत्ति हो जाता है. एक बार उसने चोरी किया तो बाद में उसका मन ऐसे ही होता है ना, पाप करने का प्रवृत्ति. नाउ इधर से ये दिस इज लाइक जनरल, कोई भी गलत कार्य करने के लिए वो मन उस दिशा में चलने के लिए तैयार हो. अभी यहां से एक और स्टेज होता है जो है बीज. यहां पे स्पेसिफिक डिजायर्स आते हैं अकॉर्डिंग टू द डिस्पोजिशन. लाइक अभी उसका गलत इच्छा हो गया, गलत कार्य किया उसने, तो गलत अप्रारब्ध आया, जिस बिकॉज ऑफ विच गलत प्रकृति उसके अंदर आ गई, और अभी गलत इच्छाएं आएंगे अंदर से. तो इच्छाएं वैसे ही रहेंगे क्या? क्या होंगे वो? फिर से पाप. तो ये जो है ये चलता रहता है जब तक ये इधर डालता रहता है प्रारब्ध. समझ आ रहा है? It produces. Do not think aprarabdha is anyway, it's there, it will not affect. No, it will soon come out as prarabdha. It's just a matter of time. Is it clear? This actually concept comes in Nectar of Devotion, how devotional service destroys all phases of sinful activity. It comes there. Why I am talking it is, I just wanted to refer to this. अभी कोई व्यक्ति जिसका शरीर थोड़ा prarabdha, what is prarabdha? That's important. Like when we take birth, we are born with some good things, some bad things also. Like someone is ugly, someone is born in poor family, someone is handicapped, born बचपन से ही ऐसा था. So that is actually prarabdha. है ना? अगर आप ज्योतिष वगैरह में जाओगे तो यही एक्सप्लेन करते हो, प्रारब्ध, ये प्रारब्ध था आपका, पर आपके अप्रारब्ध को थोड़ा मैनिपुलेट करने के लिए ट्राई करते हैं. बट हाउ मच इट इज इफेक्टिव, इट्स अ डिफरेंट डिस्कशन, विल नॉट डू दैट. बट प्रारब्ध, हाउ इज प्रारब्ध सीन? द बॉडीली सिचुएशन इज नथिंग बट प्रारब्ध's effect, prarabdha visible to us. Like say suppose now this person, the Vaishnava in discussion in this shloka, is having bodily defects. मतलब क्या है? उसने पूर्व जन्म में कभी तो पहले उसने कुछ ऐसा कार्य किया होगा, बट अभी वो भक्ति कर रहा है ना. So when he takes to bhakti, it is told that this whole cycle at different stages is addressed. So here one important, in another component I did not write, from bija, there is something called avidya or ignorance, जो जीव के very underlying misconception, avidya. So that breeds into pap. This actually fuels all, this all fuels avidya, अप्रारब्ध. ये सब अविद्या को बढ़ाते हैं, और अविद्या से वो basic wrong acting mentality, it is strengthened by that. Anyway, so you will study this later, that how by performing bhakti you actually destroy this, you destroy this, you destroy this, you destroy this, and surely this is also destroyed. Now like all the purva janmas, sanchit karma means aprarabdha, jo accumulated reactions of karma and all, which are going to come, that is destroyed or that is taken by Krishna under his control. Krishna himself says that Sarva Dharman Parityajya Mamekam Sharanam Raja Aham Tvam Sarva Papebhyo Mokshayishyami Ma Shucha. Mokshayishyami matlab kya hai? He destroys basically these things. And for each of this, there is a lot of proofs from scripture, from many examples also given. Is this clear? Is this clear? Now, for Prarabdha, we will go back to if one has taken to bhakti, it is told the below stages are destroyed. But can Prarabdha be destroyed? That's a question. Because अभी भक्ति ले लिया तो उसने उसके शरीर थोड़ा बदल जाता है क्या? हाँ? या फिर उसका जो भी उसके जो भी ये थे वो चेंज हो जाएंगे, उसका जो बॉडी डिफेक्ट्स था वो चेंज हो जाएंगे. It is told, it is described like this. I'll explain this and then I'll open for discussion. Then we can have discussion on this. Usually, when one suffers prarabdha, he also gets caught up in that karmic activity further. जैसे कोई अगर उसने गलत पाप कर लिया, गलत क्या पाप कर लिया, तो वो आगे एक ऐसे कुल में जन्म लेगा जहां पे कोई बोलेंगे नहीं उसको कि ये सही है या गलत. समझ आ रहा है आपको? There will be no education to him that what he should do, what he should not do. Now, usually such place, if he has taken birth, he will further do pap, right? Because he misused it. But that free will is there with him, but it's very, very less. उसका effect बहुत कम दिखेगा. But if he gets association of devotees, then it's very different. No? Now, if a Vaishnava has taken birth in such families, but or any jiva for that matter, but because of association of devotees, he got bhakti. वो अभी भक्ति अपना लिया और अभी भक्ति कर रहा है. अन्याभिलाषिता शून्यम, उसका अभिलाष बहुत शुद्ध है. He wants to serve Krishna. He doesn't want material benefits. He is not mixing his bhakti with थोड़ा कर्म, थोड़ा ज्ञान, ऐसा नहीं कर रहा है वो. It's very doing very निष्ठावान भक्ति, अव्यभिचारिणी भक्ति. Then, even though he has taken birth in such low families or low situations, such birth will not have bad effect on his practice. प्रारब्ध बदलेगा नहीं, पर वो situation से उसका भक्ति affect नहीं होगा. It's told that Srila Prabhupada himself says this. Many of my disciples are from such backgrounds. They were having such kind of lifestyle earlier. But because now they have taken to devotional service, that earlier past, if they take to sincerely devotion, it will not have effect on them. One should not see them like that, first thing, and also it will not have effect on them. If the one is taken to such sincere bhakti, it is true. Now, at the same time, if one is not very sincere, if one is not able to have that determination, कभी कभी वो डिटर्मिनेशन वीक होने के कारण वो अगर उन कार्यों में पतन भी हो गया उनका, तो भी उनका अभिलाष शुद्ध था, जिसके कारण भगवान उनको फिर से शुद्ध करके स्थापित कर देंगे. इसका उदाहरण भगवत गीता में आता है. तो वो देखेंगे हम अभी. आपको ये पता होगा श्री चैतन्य महाप्रभु के लीलाओं में वासुदेव लेपर मतलब ये कुष्ठ रोगी था, है ना. उसके पूरा फोड़े थे बहुत. साउथ इंडिया टूर में चैतन्य महाप्रभु कम्स टू अ प्लेस इन आंध्र प्रदेश. वहां आने के बाद आगे जाते रहते, वो मदुरई उस साइड दिशा में जाने वाले होते हैं. तो ये व्यक्ति इसने सुना हो कि श्री चैतन्य महाप्रभु आए संकीर्तन करके, उनको मिलने के लिए बहुत इच्छा रहता है इसका. तो वो पर वो ही इज अ लेपर ना, कुष्ठ रोगी है, वो आ नहीं पा रहे. तो उस समय उसको न्यूज आता है कि चले गए चैतन्य महाप्रभु. तो बहुत ही दुखी होता है. तो चैतन्य महाप्रभु वापस आते हैं उनके पास, बहुत खुश हो जाते हैं और उनको आलिंगन करते हैं. This is very nicely described in Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela. It is told there that this person was feeling very awkward to go near Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu उसको पूरा forcefully उसको उन्होंने खींचा और आलिंगन कर दिया. So what does his body indicate? we discussed ना just now, हाँ, disease हो गया है ना, ये भी एक past activities का ही फल होता है, right? But how did Chaitanya Mahaprabhu see him? He did not say him, oh, he is Kushtarogi, I should not, you know. No, he respected him because he is a devotee. The external things, that is prarabdha, that is just a matter of time. When Lord Krishna wants to remove it, that is in his freedom. Sometimes he keeps it in a body of devotee for a very special reason. That reason will come soon. Huh? Another example. Any other example, before I give any other example where Lord Krishna, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu शिवाना के करते ऐसे, no, that's the power of bhakti. Bhakti is very powerful, but it is very hidden. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is showing the example of how one should not see the defects of body, defects in the body of people. These two instances. So the mundane vision, when we see something is told, we can see either in a very materialistic vision or a spiritual vision. Materialistic vision means, oh, I see this person is actually spiritual. Materialistic vision means he considers himself as body, right? It is told in this shloka, which is spoken by Krishna. Can someone read this? Translation, only translation. English translation. What your name? Yes.
The inert body composed of nucleus of air, who assumes his wife and family are permanently his own, who thinks an earthly image or the land of his birth is worshipable, or who sees a place of pilgrimage as merely for water there, but who never identifies himself as being in separate worships or even visits those who are wise and spiritual truth. Such a person is no better than a cow or a cow or an ass.
See, what he identifies, what he sees himself as in this shloka, God. What he considers his own as family, the things related to the body. See, the vision has all these components. What he considers as worshipable, that is related to body. Where my body is born, is on Patna, Maharashtra. Whatever. Maybe, if you have great attachment to it, because my body is born, I consider myself body. That place is very good, like India. India. So that we consider as the worship. Lastly, what we identify with, we identify the Vaishnavas, we identify, what do we identify? We identify with, see, never identifies with spiritual things. Such a person is no better. So what this shloka is telling is what is materialistic. He thinks himself as body, not as. He thinks that which is related to body, that is relatives, connected to the body, family, all that connected to body as his own. वो अपना है, वो सोचता है, अहम मम. And that which is connected to the body, he sees it as worshipable place of birth, or even he goes to pilgrimage for respecting people, for only taking bath there, not respecting. So this is materialistic vision. So when we see Vaishnavas in this materialistic vision, then we see those defects. That's the point. We say, oh, this person is body. I consider myself as body. And I see दूसरों को भी, अरे देखो उनके शरीर में ये है, तो वो व्यक्ति ही is impure. We brand like that. But what the shloka is telling is that faults are only related to body. But the soul who is practicing Bhakti Yoga is, who is doing Bhakti Yoga? We saw it earlier. It's an activity of soul. है कि नहीं? तो भक्ति योगा सोल का एक्टिविटी है और डिफेक्ट कहाँ है? बॉडी में है. तो उस व्यक्ति की भक्ति का प्रभाव क्या मैं ले सकता हूं? जरूर ले सकते हैं. समझना है. जैसे उस व्यक्ति का संग क्या मैंने लेके मैं उद्धार हो सकता हूं, एडवांटेज ले सकता हूं, ले सकता हूं. ऐसा नहीं कि उस व्यक्ति के शरीर पे जो डिफेक्ट्स है, इसका मतलब ये नहीं कि उसके भक्ति ही प्योर हो गया, ऐसा नहीं ना. बात समझ आ रहा है? So this is the point which is told here. So one who sees material vision, who considers himself as body, he will see like this, So that's why that becomes the seed for offense. So this shloka is actually telling a strong instruction that if you see people in material vision, what it will lead to? Offense, aparadh. Prabhupada will tell this in the purport. We'll read the purport ahead. Otherwise, we'll lose the track of this. No one should criticize. कोई और पढ़ेंगे? Please take turns in reading. Are all of you understanding the flow of this purport? Huh? How it is going?
No one should criticize the bodily defects of a pure devotee.
Hmm.
If there are such defects, they should be overlooked.
Overlooked.
What should be taken into account is the spiritual master's main business,
Hmm.
which is devotional service, pure service to the Supreme Lord, as stated in Bhagavad Gita. Apiche suduracharo bhajante mam ananya bhav sadur eva sa mantavya samak vyavashito hinsa. Even if a devotee sometimes seems to be engaged in abominable activities, he should be considered a sadhu, a saintly person, because his actual identity is that of one engaged in the loving service of the Lord. In other words, he is not to be considered an ordinary human being. Even though a pure devotee may not
One
be
minute, 1 minute. Now, see, the soul is there. That is performing bhakti, right? That one which is glowing. हाँ? उसके बाहर सटल बॉडी है, माइंड, इंटेलिजेंस, जो भी ईगो है, उसके अंदर डिफेक्ट्स हैं, कंडीशन स्टेज में डिफेक्ट्स है ना, ग्रॉस बॉडी में डिफेक्ट्स है, क्योंकि वो व्यक्ति अगर सोचो थोड़ा कुरूप दिख रहा है, थोड़ा उसमें कुष्ठ रोग हो गया, डिसीज हो गया, या शॉर्ट टेम्पर्ड है. शॉर्ट टेम्पर्ड इज डिफेक्ट ऑफ व्हाट? Subtle body, correct? You getting? So all that which we consider as defect in a person is either related to gross or subtle body. Huh? And what should be, that should be overlooked. Prabhupada is pointing out. So this is the maturity in understanding what it is. When a person is taken to devotional service, he is in the process of purification. His body coverings will get purified, but he is already situated in bhakti. हाँ, इसीलिए जब व्यक्ति, ये श्लोक में लिखा है ना, sometimes he falls into abominable activities. इतना बहुत बड़ा गलत कार्य कर देता है कभी कभी भक्ति में आने बाद, तो वो क्या डिफेक्ट है? वो सटल बॉडी और ग्रास बॉडी का डिफेक्ट है. उसका मन बहुत ही बह जाता है, उसका बुद्धि बहुत भ्रष्ट हो जाती है. समझ आ रहा है? तो वो गलत कार्य कर देता है, ग्रॉस बॉडी से गलत कार्य कर देता है. हाँ, बट अगर वो सोल, उसका सोल मतलब वो अगर भक्ति निष्ठा से कर रहा है, तो उसको हमें क्या देखना चाहिए? He should be considered a sadhu. Lord Krishna is telling so strongly. You may wonder, अरे ये कैसे हो सकता है? ऐसे कैसे भगवान बोल सकते हैं कि अगर कोई ऐसे भ्रष्ट भी, दुराचारी श्लोक है ना, सुदुराचारी, पर अगर वो भजन कर रहा है तो उसको कैसे देखना चाहिए? साधु, साधु जैसे देखना चाहिए. पछते, प्रेजेंट टेंस में वो कर रहा है, करते आया है और कर भी रहा है. सी एक और चीज है कि भक्ति जो है, इट इज नेवर एन एक्टिविटी विच इज स्टॉप्ड एट वन पॉइंट. इट विल अगेन remind you. The nature of bhakti is that at one point again that soul will be helplessly dragged towards Lord Krishna. You will see that in many examples. जैसे एग्जाम्पल बिल्वा मंगल ठाकुर, अजामिल, ये सब क्या एग्जाम्पल्स? उन्होंने भक्ति करके छोड़ ही दिया था ना प्रैक्टिकली. ऐसा नहीं कि जब पाप कर रहे थे तब भी वो भक्ति कर रहे थे, ऐसा वो गणना ही नहीं है. भक्ति कर लिया तो भक्ति उसके क्रेडिट में है और उसका इफेक्ट आगे थोड़े समय में दिख जाएगा आपको, फिर से वो भक्ति पे आ जाएगा. समझ आ रहा है? So the point is how long he has been away from bhakti. This kind of consideration is not told in Shastras. See, this is the vision of Lord. Now what we are seeing is, we are seeing from the vision of Lord. How Lord sees such a person. Lord sees such a person as saint. Even though he has committed great sinful activity, he sees him as saint. Because he has taken to bhakti. The next shloka of this sequence, I'll show you that sequence. See, ये सीक्वेंस में अपिचेत सुदुराचारो जो वर्स है, ये बहुत ही very difficult to understand shloka in Gita. Many people say, how can Krishna say this? He's so blind or what? भगवान आपको जो भजन कर रहा है वो ऐसे गलत कर्म में पड़ा है, फिर भी आप उसका भोग स्वीकारेंगे? ऐसे प्रश्न पूछा जाता है। भगवान इतने अंधे हैं क्या प्रेम में कि अगर वो व्यक्ति पाप भी कर रहा है तो उसको नहीं मेरा भक्त है, नहीं मेरा भक्त है, ऐसे ही उनको बोलेंगे? तो आप उनको आचार देखिए, वो तो दुराचारी हो गया। तो भगवान बोलते हैं नहीं नहीं, क्योंकि उसने भक्ति अपना लिया तो आगे क्या होगा? रीड दिस। Attains lasting peace. Declare it boldly that my devotee never perishes. So for Lord, the devotee, any jiva who did little bhakti, he is saint. Because he has started bhakti. The nature of bhakti is it purifies and it grows. It will not stay like that. It grows and it purifies. So due to which the defects in the body, that grass, subtle, all that, that will get cleansed. अगर कोई स्नान करने के लिए शावर के नीचे खड़ा है तो आप उसको गाली थोड़ी देंगे, अरे इतना गंदे हो तुम, गंदे हो तुम। अरे स्नान कर रहा है, 2 मिनट के बाद पूरा शुद्ध हो जाएगा वो, है कि नहीं? तो उसको क्या बोलेंगे? वो स्नान कर रहा है, थोड़ा गंदगी हो है, स्नान कर रहा है, थोड़ा समय रुकिए, यू विल बिकम क्लीन। सो कृष्णा इज सेइंग हियर क्षिप्रम। क्षिप्रम मतलब क्विकली। हाउ क्विकली? दैट्स लेफ्ट टू कृष्ण। How quickly, how fast, how slow, that is left to Krishna. But if we see, Are, this person is he is sinful, he's not a bhakti, he's a very cheater, ऐसा हम ब्रांड करेंगे तो हम क्या करेंगे जिसके कारण? अपराध. So Prabhupada is telling that we should not see such defects, either gross or subtle. Very important principle of bhakti. You have something to tell? Prabhu, you want to say something? हाँ, माइक दीजिए.
रोज जी हम भक्ति कर रहे हैं, अगर उसने जो भी पर्सन है उसने भक्ति किया है पहले, और अगर वो उसके बाद चार जो नियम है उसका पालन करना है और वो पालन नहीं कर रहा है, वो पाप ही करते जा रहा है, तो उसका भक्ति का आगे क्या होगा?
वो भक्ति जो है कभी नाश नहीं हो. भक्ति उसका एक इटर्नल एसेट बन गया, उसके बैंक अकाउंट में पड़ा है वो. हाँ, जब एक सही एक और चीज है, जब भी कोई थोड़ा भी भक्ति करता है तो भगवान उनपे विशेष कृपा करेंगे, उनका विशेष ख्याल भी करेंगे. तो भगवान क्या करते हैं? उसको बारंबार ऐसे सिचुएशन में ले आएंगे और उसको एक और चांस देंगे, कुछ एसोसिएशन देंगे. भक्त भी वैसे ही करते, भगवान के वो भाव को प्रदर्शन करते. हाँ, ऐसे कुछ चांस देंगे भगवान उसको. उसके पूर्व भक्ति के कारण वो सिचुएशन का वो एडवांटेज ले सकता है या डिसएडवांटेज भी ले सकता है. जैसे दैट एलिफेंट, उसने तो भक्ति पिछले जन्म में किया था. बाद में तो वो हाथी बन, मतलब सोचो आप, उसको तो शाप मिला श्योरली, बट पॉइंट इज ही हैड फॉलन इनटू सच ए इग्नोरेंट सिचुएशन. मतलब कोई जानवर है वो क्या जब कर सकता है, क्या कर सकता है? मुश्किल है, संग लेना तो मुश्किल है इसको. और उतना अहंकारी बन गया था वो हाथी, है कि नहीं? पर भगवान ऐसी सिचुएशन पे ले आए और उसको स्मरण दिला दिए. द पॉइंट इज दिस पॉइंट इज टोल्ड हाउ भक्ति इज ऑल ऑस्पिशियस. इवन इफ वी हैपन टू लीव भक्ति इन मिडल, someone leaves bhakti in the middle, still there is nothing lost for him. It is told in Gita. And in future it will give auspiciousness only. तो एक बार शुरू हो गया तो जर्नी स्टार्ट हो गया. आप कितना जल्दी जाओगे, कहाँ कहाँ रुक के जाओगे, क्या क्या और साइड चीजें करोगे, वो आपके मर्जी, बट जर्नी शुरू हो गया है. टिकट आपके पास है अभी. आपके तीव्रता के अनुसार आप पहुंच सकते हो. तो भगवान ऐसे जो भक्ति छोड़े हुए लोगों को, ऐसे श्लोक कहा जाता है, नवई जनो जात कथांचना व्रजेत. उस व्यक्ति के जीवन में वो भोग नहीं कर पाएगा एक्चुअली. उसको बारंबार भक्ति के भक्तों का भगवान का याद आता रहेगा. अरे इतना अच्छा था वो. क्या कर दिया. हाँ, सो ऐसे अगर कोई पाप कर्मों से पतित होता है, ये बात, अगर कोई अपराध करता है तो वो अलग ही है. I will come to that discussion later. कोई अगर कुछ बुरा व्यसन में पड़ गया, स्वभाव के कारण कुछ गलत हो गया, तो भगवान उसको फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल ही गिव्स दैट मेमोरी और बारंबार और कुछ एसोसिएशन भी दिलाने को ट्राई करेंगे। आप कई सारे प्रसंग सुने होंगे ना, कोई बुक डिस्ट्रीब्यूटर अगेन अगेन आके पुस्तक देता है उसको, नहीं नहीं अच्छा था, वही था अच्छा, इसलिए वो लौट आ जाता है। सो दीज आर ऑल इंस्टेंसेस विच शो दैट हाउ लॉर्ड he never forgets even the devotee. The devotee is never lost for the Lord. That's the point. इसलिए न प्रणश्यति लिखा है, न प्रणश्य। तो ये प्रिंसिपल जो है, ये भक्ति कैसे भक्तों को देखना चाहिए, और भक्त अगर कभी कभी ऐसे दोष भी दिखते हैं तो उनको हमेशा आदर करना चाहिए ना। अभी उनके साथ व्यवहार करना अलग हो सकता है, समझ आ रहा है? मैं उनको आदर करूंगा, उनको ऐसा नहीं बोलूंगा ये तो बहुत ही नगण्य निकृष्ट है, ऐसा ऐसा नहीं कहना चाहिए, वो तो अपराध हो जाता। ठीक है, उसके साथ मेरा उसका स्वभाव मेरे को जम नहीं रहा है, मैं दूर से प्रणाम करूंगा, हाँ, उसके कुछ कार्य मुझे सही नहीं लगते हैं तो मैं उसका संग नहीं लूंगा, दैट्स ओके, बट यू शुड नेवर स्पीक इल अगेंस्ट दैट पर्सन, करेक्ट? So we protect our devotional service by taking good association. We don't need to take such person's association who is struggling with some faults like that. Getting practical application में देखा जाए तो हमें तो जो हमसे वरिष्ठ है या अच्छे प्रैक्टिस कर रहे हैं, हाँ, मैच्योर भक्त हैं, उनका संग लेना चाहिए। That is suggested, like helpful. Okay. तो ये जो है, ये श्लोक में समझ आता है कि भगवान कैसे उनको शुद्ध कर देते थोड़े समय में, उसके लिए दिखाया था। यस प्रभु।
What happens actually is we all have came from the spiritual world, and then how is it determined? I mean, we have came from the same place. Then how our prarabdha or our activities, how are those determined? What we are supposed to do and when we are supposed to
It
get.
is not determined. It is our choice.
Okay.
It's not determined. तो इसलिए हमें वो हमेशा, अगर कितना भी पतित अवस्था में हो, हमें वो चॉइस तो रहता ही है। मनुष्य शरीर में वो चॉइस को एक्सरसाइज करने का पावर ज्यादा रहता है, इसलिए मनुष्य शरीर को बहुत ही प्रशंसा करते हैं ना। वी ग्लोरीफाई द ह्यूमन फॉर्म ऑफ लाइफ। So there is nothing determined that this soul has to be bound in this world. This soul is very nice. You should no. Lord sees everyone. He gives the opportunity. जो उसका लाभ लेगा उसका आगे भगवान और भी अच्छे अच्छे देते जाए। It's a reciprocal. It is called like that. So थोड़ा और पढ़ेंगे, और I hope all of you are able to relate to this discussion. So now Prabhupada will talk about who is a Goswami from here. There was many themes in this discussion. I had listed in the beginning. Bhakti Yoga is activity of soul. That was so far what we saw. Okay, from here, from where? From the paragraph he was reading, even though a pure devotee may not be born in a Brahmana or Goswami. Padya.
Even though a pure devotee may not be born in a Brahmana or Goswami family, if he is engaged in the service of the Lord, he should not be neglected. In actuality, there cannot be a family of Goswamis based on material considerations, caste or heredity. The Goswami title is actually the monopoly of pure devotees. Thus, we speak of the 6 Goswamis headed by Sri Rupa Goswami, Sanatan Goswami, Rupa Goswami, and Sanatan Goswami had practically become Mohammedans and had therefore changed their names to Dabir Khas and Sakar Malik. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself made them Goswamis. Therefore, the Goswami title is not hereditary. The word Goswami refers to one who can control his senses, who is the master of senses. A devotee is not controlled by the senses, but is the controller of the senses. Consequently, he should be called Swami or Goswami, even though he may not be born in the Goswami family.
Goswami. So ये प्रभुपाद जी समझा रहे हैं, when we say someone ये तो गोस्वामी वंश के हैं, तो ठीक है, उस वंश में जन्म लिए होंगे, पर उनका कार्य तो उस रूप में होना चाहिए, is it not? So the shloka, the very first shloka told, who is a Goswami? Vacho vegam manasah krodha vegam. वहाँ पे गोस्वामी का definition आता है, right? unable to control his senses and mind. He is a Goswami. So he could be born in the family of Goswamis, but he should actually exhibit the character of Goswami, able to control that. And it's not hereditary. Prabhupada is giving the example of someone who had changed apparently to a different caste. But still, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave them the title of Goswamis, the 6 Goswamis we are talking about. So Prabhupada in the further this thing, he talks about one improper behavior, improper understanding. So after Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu left, there was Sri Nityananda Prabhu, Advaita Prabhu. These were family men. They had children in that lineage. Gadadhar was a brahmachari. He was actually, his child is, he leaves the body, in the Sankirtan and all. So after that, he did not have child. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was sannyasi. Panchatattva में किनके बच्चे थे? अद्वैताचार्य और नित्यानंद. तो ये चैतन्य महाप्रभु के बाद एक तरह का लोगों का समझ आ गया कि जो जन्म लिए हैं नित्यानंद वंश में या अद्वैत वंश में, उस लीनियज में, तो वे ही गोस्वामी हैं. ये चैतन्य Prabhupada, when he went to Mayapur, this was so prevalent that they would say, "Arey, aap they were talking to Srila Prabhupada's disciples who are sannyasis, who are given the names of Goswami and all, like Gopala Krishna Goswami, Tamala Krishna Goswami, Prabhupada ji had given the names like, अरे गोस्वामी तो नित्यानंद वंश में आने वाले हैं, अद्वैत वंश में आने वाले, आप गोस्वामी नहीं हो. आप ये भक्ति करके अगले जन्म में आपका भक्ति के कारण हमारे वंश में जन्म लोगे, तब आप सही पे गोस्वामी बन सकते हो. ऐसे उन्होंने बोल दिया था. तो ये जो भक्त जिनको ये बोला गया था वो दौड़ के प्रभुपाद जी के पास आए. उन्होंने सोचा कि ये भक्त ने हमें आशीर्वाद दे दिया कि हम अगले जन्म मायापुर में जन्म लेंगे ऐसे. तो प्रभुपाद जी बोलेंगे, अरे you fool, you go and tell him that if he does bhakti properly, next life he will take birth in ISKCON devotees family like that. He will come and practice bhakti in ISKCON. The point is, the bhakti is not determined by birth. That's the point. Bhakti is not determined by that prarabdha, what type of body, his vansh, उसका वंश क्या है, उसका गोत्र क्या है. ऐसे पूछते हैं ना लोग, आप क्या ब्राह्मण हैं? ऐसे पूछते हैं. नहीं नहीं, हम ब्राह्मण नहीं है, हम तो दीक्षित हैं, हमारे गुरुजी ने दास नाम दिया, बस इतना ही बोलते हैं. क्या आप कौन से दीक्षित हो, पूरा है ना, देश पांडे हो या हो, तो कुलकर्णी हो, जो भी. The point is, one should understand that the devotees who are practicing devotional service are able to control their senses. That's why they should be called Goswamis, like that. So this is explained by Prabhupada in the middle. Can you read from the next paragraph? On the other hand.
So according to this formula,
Next paragraph.
Next
उसके बाद.
on the other hand, a devotee who has attained the title of Goswami but is not born of a Brahmana father or of a Goswami in the family of Nityananda or Advaita Prabhu should not be artificially puffed up by thinking that he has become a Goswami. He should always remember that as soon as he becomes materially puffed up, he immediately falls down. This Krishna consciousness movement is a transcendental science and there is no room for jealousy. This movement is meant for the Paramhamsas who are completely free from all jealousy. Paramam Nirmatsaranam. One should not be jealous whether he is born in the family of Goswamis or has the title of Goswami awarded to him. As soon as one becomes envious, he falls from the platform of Paramahamsa.
So one should not become proud of his birth, his caste, his material abilities, qualities. वो तो सब body के related है. One should not be discouraged. अरे मेरा तो क्या है, मेरे को कुछ याद ही नहीं रहता, मैं ऐसे जन्म में, ऐसे कुल में जन्म लिया हूँ, ऐसे इतने सारे बुरे कर्म किया था मैंने. One should not be discouraged. One should not be puffed up also on the other side. Both should not be one's disposition. That's Prabhupada is talking both sides of spectrum. So from here, he will tell, if we see it like that, then we commit what is called as aparadh. तो अपराध मतलब क्या है? Again, Radharani. Okay, very nice. हाँ, अपराधा, अपराधना, जो आराधना के विरुद्ध है वो. So what all comes in the whole realm of aparad? It is told in this Puran. ये जो श्लोक देख रहा है ना, अगर ये 6 चीजें हम इसमें engaged है, we are doing it, that means we are committing अपराध. Read it. This is स्कंद पुराण में आता है. उसको उठाओ क्या? हाँ, 1 मिनट, एक. हाँ. हंति निंदति वै द्वेष्टि वैष्णवन् नाभिनंदति क्रुध्यते यति नो हर्षम दर्शने पतनानिशत्. ट्रांसलेशन पढ़िए.
One who kills a devotee,
हाँ.
one who blasphemes devotees, one who is envious of devotees, one who fails to offer obeisances to Vaishnavas upon seeing them, one who becomes angry with a Vaishnava, one who does not become joyful upon seeing a Vaishnava.
हाँ.
These 6 classes of foolish men who blaspheme Vaishnavas go to the worst kind of hell along with generations of their ancestors.
So मैं जब ये पढ़ा था शॉक हो गया था. ठीक है, पहला तो जरूर करेंगे नहीं हम किसको कि शायद मच्छर को मारेंगे, इनको क्यों मारेंगे हम, है ना. ब्लास्फेमी, ठीक है, विल कंट्रोल आवर टॉक. एनवियस, we'll try to control, but one should not becoming joyful, fails to offer obeisances. ये थोड़ा डर लग गया हमें पढ़ने बाद, है ना. The point is one should not have any ill feeling towards a devotee. जब ये मन के दौर पे भी क्यों ना हो, मन के स्तर पे भी क्यों ना हो, क्योंकि वो मन के स्तर से वो आगे आ ही जाता है. हाँ, क्या आपको कोई ऐसे सिचुएशन याद है जो शास्त्रों में आता है वैष्णव अपराध के, जो मन के स्तर पे था वो बाद में एक्शन हो गया? हाँ, बोलिए. सुग्रीव?
No, not Sugriv. Then he became friends with Bakasura.
ये जाम्बवान, नहीं, वो कौन? गोरिल्ला. ही वाज कृष्ण लीला में भी आता है, कृष्ण मारते हैं.
Yeah, Krishna kills him.
हाँ. Yeah, he comes in Vrindavan and he teases the gopis and he gets beaten up by Krishna.
ना, वो तो ये किला चिल्लाता
किला
है.
किला बोलते हैं वो रामायण में भी था.
नहीं, वो असुर का नाम.
ठीक है. You can explain what he did. That's a very
He was envious of Lakshman,
हाँ.
and then he, because of that envy brought him to bad association.
हाँ.
And then he became envious of Ram also, and then gradually comes in the next yuga. He becomes envious of Krishna and Balram also. And then he comes in front of Balram where he was having Ras Leela, and he shows his backseat to
Yes.
and he shouts Kila. And then Balramji kills him.
Balramji. Yes, that's true. Correct. Yeah, because of bad association.
Bad
he falls
association,
away.
yes.
Correct.
And then because of envy, he falls into bad
Ah.
association.
Yes,
That envy.
that's very good. He had that ill feeling towards Lakshmanji, and then that breeds into action, and he becomes so away from Lord Ram and Krishna in the future avatar. He becomes an asura, practically, like that. Huh? So it doesn't stay at the mentally situation. It will come into action. That's why it is told that's also aparad. So these 6 type of activities, they constitute aparad according to this shloka. Okay. So very important to know, first of all, why we commit aparad. That we should understand. Correct? Yeah, guys. Huh? Why does one commit aparad? Open to all of you. Why will one commit aparad? Why will one feel like that? One will act like that. Yes, Prabhu.
Because of that, and because of that, the egoistic nature comes up. We think ourselves as superior.
Superior.
To that particular person, so that we start blaspheming that person.
So that pride or arrogance, that ahankar, ना? और कोई और कुछ कारण?
Jealousy.
या jealousy तो सब में है ही, है ना? Condition soul मतलब हाँ? द्विविधा गोरिल्ला, correct है. Thank you, द्विविधा. Anything else? हाँ. Comparison. हाँ, comparing in a material way. mundane vision that we saw no earlier, that mundane materialistic vision of people. Very nice, correct, good points. Ah,
It might not be in align, it not be aligned with what we expect or what we
Ah.
are following or
Yeah,
how
yeah,
we are.
correct.
It might be different, and then we may start feeling that against.
Yes. We like what we like so much that we don't like those who don't like it. I don't know whether it's as clear. अगर कोई मेरे जैसा नहीं है तो उनको मैं मानूंगा नहीं honestly. है ना? Because of my own attachment to what I like, that becomes so difficult. Yes. Ego also, correct. अहंकार. एक और चीजें मैं देख रहा हूँ, और एक कारण जो अपराध करने के लिए
Being on the body platform,
bodily platform,
judging others.
judging others, that materialistic vision he was telling, correct, correct. Any other? He is not humble. Okay. Yes, he's not humble. He doesn't respect properly. Yes. You told that actually, that reason. Of course, material vision, inattention, pride, arrogance, attachment, unfavorable association. This is what I was looking for. Bad association. अगर कोई bad association में गिर जाता है तो वो अपराध की भावना पकड़ लेता है और अपराध कर लेता है. और कभी कभी भक्ति के बारे में ठीक से समझ ही नहीं होता, व्यक्ति ऐसे ही कर रहा है, उसके बारे में कुछ नॉलेज या शास्त्र रीडिंग, associating with sadhus, learning something, that kind of attitude is not there, so that person also commits अपराध. तो अपराध करने से क्या होता है, थोड़ा कुछ ऑलरेडी हमने जान लिया है. व्हाट हैपेंस बाय इफेक्ट ऑफ पतन होता है, भक्ति से दूर हो जाएंगे. और कुछ we are removed from spiritual association. Yeah, feel no inspiration to practice, no desire to practice. Yeah. Willful. Ill. Actually, there are many, even physical effects which one can see when one offends great devotees. It is told in one shloka, it comes in 10th canto. It's told what all things one loses by doing aparadh. It is told with respect to Kans. Kans जो था, इतना वो महद अतिक्रमा, that word is used. बड़े महात्माओं का उन्होंने अतिक्रम किया, उनके प्रति अपराध किया, जिसके कारण व्यक्ति क्या क्या खो लेता है. Read this translation only, you can read.
My dear king, when a man persecutes great souls, all his benedictions of longevity, beauty, fame, religion, blessings, and promotion to higher planets will be
Will
destroyed.
be destroyed. When someone offends a great soul, what he will lose? He will lose basically his own life only. Daksh. गला ही कट गया उसका. नहीं, ऐसा बोला जाता है कि कोई बड़े व्यक्ति आते हैं, महात्मा आते हैं, तो हमें तुरंत ही उठ के उनको प्रणाम या अपना रिस्पेक्ट दिखाना चाहिए. अगर नहीं उठते तो हमारे प्राण वायु हमसे ऊपर चला जाएगा. तो ऊपर उठ के प्राण वायु को हमारे शरीर में लेना चाहिए. समझ आ रहा है आपको? बिकॉज प्राण वायुस, देयर आर 6, 8, yeah, prana vayus are there. 6 if I am not wrong. Vyana, Udan, Saman, Pran. They say no, like that. So these are all what controls the soul in balance in the body. अगर वो ऊपर जाएंगे तो balance, the point of balance will change, right? The soul will come out of the body. So when Daksha did not respect Lord Shivji properly, he in fact speaks so ill against him. Or when Indra disrespects, you have heard this instance? Indra doesn't get up only when his guru has Brihaspati, correct? या फिर वो भी एक इंस्टेंस है जहाँ पे वो राजा थे, एक अंगिरा नामक ऋषि आ रहे थे, अगस्त्य, जो एक्चुअली गजेंद्र का पिछला लाइफ था. इंद्रद्युम्न राजा थे, करेक्ट. रोमहर्षण सूत, करेक्ट, परफेक्ट एग्जाम्पल. वाह, सच ए नाइस एग्जाम्पल. बलराम जी आए तो उनको उन्होंने आदर नहीं दिया. वेरी गुड. सो व्हेन डजंट रेस्पेक्ट, व्हाट हैपेंस इज लाइफ इज एट रिस्क. बाबा, फर्स्ट थिंग लॉन्जेविटी, देन ब्यूटी. दक्ष का तो बकरे का सिर हो गया उसका, है कि नहीं? और फेम, रिलीजियन, धर्म भ्रष्ट हो जाता है। एक इंस्टेंस आता है चैतन्य महाप्रभु की लीला में, ये कौन है मुझे याद नहीं आ रही, ही ऑफेंडेड श्रीवास ठाकुर और समन, हाँ गोपाल चपल, ये सब सही है, ऑल ऑफ यू आर टेलिंग, बट व्हाट आई एम रेफरिंग टू इज समवन हु ऑफेंड्स लॉर्ड्स ग्रेट डिवोटी, ही इज एक्चुअली in his own house in front one mantap, there he is butchered by some envious people, they come and butcher him, he offends Srivas Thakur or someone like that, yeah, Nityananda Prabhu. So some very starking reactions are seen for aparadhis, who act out of envy, like Gopal Chapal you are telling, or any other example, many examples Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's, like even that Bhagavad Kathakar also had done offense. शशि माता को महाप्रभु ने कृपा नहीं दिया, वो माँ होने के, उनकी ही माँ थी वो, बट फिर भी उन्होंने कृपा नहीं दिया। तो और वो एक भागवत कथाकार थे, वो श्रीवास ठाकुर को बाहर फेंक देते हैं। बाद में वो कैसे तो एक और भक्त के वैष्णव के शरण लिए, इसीलिए उनका उद्धार, नहीं तो उद्धार होने वाला ही नहीं था। देवकी नंदन ठाकुर उनका नाम बनता है बाद में। So the point is, offense is so dangerous. If anything is there in our life to fear, it's only one thing: offense to devotees. Sin, you don't need to fear sin. You just practice bhakti with dutifulness, sincerity. It will go. If sometimes some lapse happens, but we should take association. One thing we should see positively is association. One thing we should see negatively is offense. ये शास्त्रों में इतना clearly लिखा है. No, there is no doubt about it. So the effects of Vaishnava aparad are like this. Anyway, I will go to this discussion later.
For aparad only, means when we are seeing those 6 things, so is there any priority or hierarchy ऐसा कुछ है या फिर means because killing is a very
Killing is a too serious.
बहुत ही हो गया, and उसके बाद then it comes down, so
इसीलिए हमें वैष्णव एटिकेट्स पालन करना चाहिए। वैष्णव एटिकेट्स व्हाट डू दे डू, दे प्रोटेक्ट अस फ्रॉम नॉट गेटिंग दैट डिसरेस्पेक्टफुल फीलिंग। लाइक अभी कोई वैष्णव या सन्यासी आए तो तुरंत ही उठ के हम प्रणाम करते हैं ना। अगर हमें मन में वो भाव आने ठीक है, नो प्रॉब्लम, एटलीस्ट यू ग्रासली डू इट। लाइक वंस प्रभुपाद वाज आस्क्ड, प्रभुपाद मेरे को, आई एम नॉट फीलिंग टू डू ऑफ pranams, obeisances. Prabhupada told you do it and then you will feel it. He told, we should start doing. That's for our benefit. When we do follow etiquettes, we are protected. Like, of course, where it starts, how it progresses, it's different for different cases. We cannot say like that. But it all starts with small thing like Indra. वो थोड़ा डिसरेस्पेक्ट किया, हर बार आते हैं मेरा गुरुजी, ठीक है आए तो क्या नो, तो ऐसे उन्होंने नेग्लेक्ट किया, जिसके कारण कहाँ तक पहुंच गए वो देखो, लेकिन so it starts with small, but it goes that feeling like same thing like this, it works like that also. एक प्रवृत्ति आ जाती है डिसरेस्पेक्टफुल, तो वो बढ़ते जाता है, point it at the point itself and nip it like. थोड़ा और है, पढ़ लेंगे, we'll complete this at least. At least Yugal Shampro will save me that you completed one shloka. Otherwise, he told me to do the next one, but I am doubtful. We'll read this. What we are major discussions I have completed. We'll read, and if any questions come, we will point out. Read. If we consider the bodily defects.
If we consider the bodily defects of a Vaishnava, we should understand that we are committing an offense at the lotus feet of the Vaishnava. An offense at the lotus feet of Vaishnava is very serious. Indeed, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has described this offense as hatimata, the mad elephant offense. A mad elephant can create a disaster, especially when it enters into a nicely trimmed garden. One should therefore be very careful not to commit any offense against a Vaishnava.
So 1 minute, we had already discussed about how to understand comparisons, analogies. This is an important analogy for your exam point of view. Can someone explain what are the points of similarity, what principle? Elephant, and Vaishnava. offense.
Vaishnava.
So please compare. हाँ
वाचोवेगम के लिए फ्रॉक का एनालॉजी दिया
ना ना
जाता
ना
है।
ये दो सिनेरियोस है. मैड एलिफेंट इनटू गार्डन, डिवोटी कमिटिंग ऑफेंस. ये दो सिनारियो, इसका कंपैरिजन हो रहा है ना यहाँ पे. इसको एग्जैक्ट पॉइंट टू पॉइंट कंपेयर करिए और वो एक कॉमन प्रिंसिपल जो समझाया जा रहा है उसको यू स्टेट इट.
Is compared to an offense and the nicely trimmed garden is compared to the Bhakti Lata beach.
Bhakti creeper or Bhakti
Bhakti
garden,
yes.
whatever you call it, Bhakti life basically. So mad elephant tramples the garden, offense destroys the Bhakti. Practically can destroy, huh? Bhakti cannot be destroyed. Krishna has told it earlier, but by offense, Krishna will become so unhappy that Bhakti practically will feel like it is not there only. So the principle is that one should not offend devotees. That's the read ahead. Who was reading?
Every devotee should be ready to take instructions from a superior Vaishnava. And a superior Vaishnava must be ready to help an inferior Vaishnava in all respects. One is superior or inferior according to his spiritual development in Krishna consciousness. One is forbidden to observe the activities of a pure Vaishnava from a material point of view. For the neophyte especially, considering a pure devotee from a material point of view is very injurious. One should therefore avoid observing a pure devotee externally, but should try to see the internal features and understand how he is engaged in the transcendental loving service of the Lord. In this way, one can avoid seeing the pure devotee from a material point of view, and thus one can gradually become a purified devotee himself.
So stop seeing the devotee from material point of view. That's the. So what is that vision? What is that offensive mentality? Which was told is the last part of this purport. I had shown it earlier. That's the last part. From here it is starting. Read it.
Those who think that Krishna consciousness is limited to a certain section of people, a certain section of devotees, or a certain tract of land are generally prone to see the external features of the devotee. Such neophytes, unable to appreciate the exalted service of the advanced devotee, try to bring the Mahabhagavata to their platform. We experience such difficulty in propagating this Krishna consciousness all over the world. Unfortunately, we are surrounded by neophyte God brothers who do not appreciate the extraordinary activities of spreading Krishna consciousness all over the world. They simply try to bring us to their platform and they try to criticize us in every respect. We very much regret their naive activities and poor fund of knowledge. An empowered person who is actually engaged in the confidential service of the Lord should not be treated as an ordinary human being. For it is stated that unless one is empowered by Krishna, one cannot spread the Krishna consciousness movement all over the world.
So when Prabhupada was preaching, there were people who were speaking like this. That, oh, Srila Prabhupada, he was anyway a businessman. He knew how to expand his business. Similarly, he did preaching. He expanded ISKCON like a, yeah, no problem. Expanded Krishna consciousness like he expanded business. Like that they say. It was his material ability. He cannot be truly called as, he should not be called Prabhupada. A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami should not be called Prabhupada. And they would sometimes stop Prabhupada's followers from visiting temples in Vrindavan. You are not born, and they would make such kind of a very strange opposition. So Prabhupada is expressing this. They are seeing from a material point of view. So when one
thus criticizes a pure devotee, he commits an offense, Vaishnava Aparadh. That is very obstructive and dangerous for those who desire to advance in Krishna consciousness. A person cannot derive any spiritual benefit when he offends the lotus feet of a Vaishnava. Everyone should therefore be very careful not to be jealous of an empowered Vaishnava or a Shuddha Vaishnava. It is also an offense to consider an empowered Vaishnava an object of disciplinary action. It is offensive to try to give him advice or to correct him. One can distinguish between a neophyte Vaishnava and an advanced Vaishnava by their activities. The advanced Vaishnava is always situated as the spiritual master, and the neophyte is always considered his disciple. The spiritual master must not be subjected to the advice of a disciple, nor should a spiritual master be obliged to take instructions from those who are not his disciples. This is the sum and substance of Srila Rupa Goswami's advice in the sixth verse.
Someone who is at a very high platform of devotional service, like spiritual master, he should not be seen with material viewpoint. Oh, his opinion is not perfect managerially. He doesn't know how this functions, that functions. He should not be advised in a material way. Sometimes the spiritual master himself can ask. That's up to him. But we should not go to say, I know better than you. No, I can tell how to do this and that. So that kind of disposition can breed into offense like that. So especially it relates to someone who is a very pure devotee. The shloka is talking actually about pure devotee. But nonetheless, it is important to guard such mentality against even practicing devotees. Because it's just a matter of time. Is it not? So I was reading Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur's explanation on this shloka. He's written a very long explanation. Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur and all. So they say how much we should guard against offense. So we will read some passages from there. 2 slides are there. We will read it. When we see faults in even practicing devotees, first of all, the faults are not of the soul. They are of the gross body, subtle body, which will get purified. But when we see faults, what happens? They say is that that fault will come on you. The worst thing which can happen is what? Sometimes I have observed it myself. अरे इतना खाता है वो, और थोड़े समय के बाद हम ही ऐसे बिहेव करते हैं. अरे इतना गुस्सा करता है वो, हाँ? हमारे ऊपर वो अनर्थ आ जाए, क्योंकि हम ऐसे दोष एक देख रहे हैं ना. That vision is not proper. We should respect. There should be a respectful vision towards devotees. You know, we may not follow them if their character is not very good. You know, their activities of bodies are not very good. Okay, will not follow them, but we should respect them nonetheless. You know? So here they are saying, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur says this. Read this. To stand against Vaishnava.
To stand against the Vaishnava is to stand against one's own vital interests.
हमारे भक्ति पे ही वो असर पड़ेगा उसका.
Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says that the Mahabhagavats do not care for any offenses made against them, but the foot dust of those Mahabhagavats cannot tolerate the dishonor of their masters.
Actually, Krishna becomes very unhappy when he sees his devotees.
Don't criticize. Don't be hungry to find the faults in others.
I will send it to you. Do not worry. It's okay. You can. Anyway, this is available as such. So we should not criticize. We should not be looking for faults. No, very important. We should not be fault finding. They say, no, dosha buddhi.
But if someone finds fault in you, then you may consult a higher authority, a more senior Vaishnava. There have been some complaints against me. Whether or not they are valid, I don't know. Please, can you help me to understand my defects?
उसने ऐसे बोला, उसका गलती है, वो ठीक से समझता नहीं मुझे. ठीक है, जो भी है, मुझे I want to improve myself. Forget about what he sees, what he doesn't. In Krishna's eyes, I want to become a better devotee. So how can I improve myself? Can you help me understand my defects? So like this, a very healthy attitude should be there. And especially when we, after some time, we all take to that role of guiding others, or preaching. And we are seeing faults in others. We sometimes say, अरे आपको ऐसा नहीं करना चाहिए, ऐसा नहीं करना. तो उसके लिए बोलते हैं वो है. पढ़िए. Physician,
cure thyself before you attempt to cure others.
So it's a very famous quote. Doctor cures, himself first. So before trying to cure others, guide others, first try to become yourself better.
Always try to be submissive to the Vaishnava devotees. Submissiveness to them will promote one's spiritual merit. We shall also pray to the Supreme Lord for such an attitude. O Lord, my bad temperament stands in the way of my association with the devotees. Please remove it. Association with the devotees of the Lord is a primary necessity.
I think it completes. Anyway, and the important message is how to not see devotees, to not do Vaishnav aparadh. So in this particular purport, quite a deep purport, we saw in the beginning how devotional service is the activity of soul, है ना? उसके बाद में हम पढ़ते गए कि who is a Goswami. Truly a Goswami is one who is practicing devotional service properly, not one who is born in that situation, who is gifted with that material ability or no. And then we saw about avoiding Vaishnava aparadh. That was a long discussion. And what is offensive mentality, it is told here. So in this discussion, we also saw what is Vaishnava aparadh, what are the types of Vaishnava aparadh, why one commits Vaishnava aparadh, and what was the last one we saw? No? What happens? What will be the effects? So what is the cure for this? How can we avoid Vaishnava aparadh? Okay, we understood that it's so dangerous. It's understood that it's anyway dangerous. So how can we avoid it?
Following etiquettes that are prescribed here.
Yes, very good. Following Vaishnava etiquettes. No matter, like in earlier shloka it was told, even one who chants Krishna, he should be offered respect. चाहे कैसे भी हो, at least mentally offer respect, है ना? तो etiquettes follow करना बहुत ही important. Anything more?
Being in association of the devotees.
Be in association of devotees, sincere devotees, who help us understand. Yes, very good. Yes, Prabhu.
स्वाध्याय करना.
हाँ, शास्त्रों को समझना. देखो भगवान कैसे देखते हैं भक्तों को. हम शास्त्र से पढ़े, गीता से पढ़े हो, हम गीता का श्लोक था वो. गीता में भगवान ऐसे बोले. यस, स्वाध्याय करना, शास्त्रों को पढ़ना, क्योंकि शास्त्र जो है वो भगवान का दृष्टिकोण है. हाउ लॉर्ड सीज, दैट इज एक्सप्रेस्ड इन शास्त्र. वेरी राइट पॉइंट. एनी अदर? We should be looking at our own faults. Stop seeing, finding faults others. See faults within. Very good. Very nice. Anything more?
Even if
It is recommended that if you want to be with someone, you should try to see their good side. That means you should try to glorify them,
Correct.
because of which you won't see faults. Rather, you would continue glorifying.
So if we are in this attitude of finding good in others, it is such a nice thing. No, you will overlook faults. क्या हम हमारे फैमिली के लोगों के साथ हम ऐसा फॉल्ट फाइंडिंग करते हैं क्या? सोचो, हमारे कोई छोटा भाई है, हमेशा गुस्सा करता है, कोई आके उसके ऊपर बोले वैसा मत बोलो. अच्छा, we will take his side, right? So we are in one family of Krishna, Srila Prabhupada. Why we should find faults with others? We should understand that they are ours. We are all one family. In fact, the best way to rise above fault finding, as it told, is to find good in others, to glorify others. That will be pleasing to Krishna so much, like that. So instead of worrying, oh, aparadh, glorify Vaishnavas. That will be the best way to avoid offenses. Thank you. Any comments? We'll end. Question. ठीक है. तो जानना चाहते हो, if anything else you have service, you can leave. It's okay.
तो जी, जब हमारा बीच में सेक्शन चल रहा था सनातन गोस्वामी के बारे में, तब you said one line कि those who are practicing bhakti properly, Krishna considers their body as his. Something in this sense only you said. So अगर कोई devotee है वो पहले अच्छे से कर रहा था, प्रॉपरली भक्ति कर रहा था, तब तो कृष्ण ने बोला भाई बॉडी मेरा है अभी. So
when I said properly, what it meant is that दीक्षा काले शिष्य करे आत्म समर्पण, है ना? तो जो भगवान पे पूरे रूप तरह से समर्पित हो जाते हैं, भगवान तो he owns their life very much. उनका तो पूरा खुद ही संभाल देते हैं. जैसे हम बोलते हैं ना भगवत गीता में अनन्याश्चिन्तयन्तो माम ये जनः पर्युपासते तेषां नित्याभियुक्तानां योगक्षेमं वहाम्यहम्। भगवान क्या बोल रहे हैं? योगक्षेम, वो उस व्यक्ति का योगक्षेम देखूं। किस व्यक्ति का? पहला लाइन में है वो, अनन्या चिंतयन, जो अनन्या भक्ति कर रहा है उसका पूरा योगक्षेम मैं देखूंगा। और बाकी जो जो जितना जितना प्रपोर्शन सरेंडर होते हैं उतना भगवान देखभाल करेंगे ही। ऐसा नहीं कि भक्तों का जो हम जैसे कभी कभी हम we fall into such material attachments and all. Is Lord not seeing us? He is surely seeing us. But compared to those ananya bhaktas like Madhavendra Puri, वो कुछ खाए ही नहीं, ऐसे बैठे हैं, हाँ, वो याचना भी नहीं कर रहे, तो भगवान खुद आके दूध लेंगे जाएंगे ना। तो वो स्तर that is very high in that sense. So Lord reciprocates according to the surrender of that devotee. But surely it is far, far better than those who are not practicing devotional service, right? That way, Lord always takes care of all these stages. It's under his control in that sense.
वन लास्ट थिंग प्रभु जी, जैसे अभी आपने बोला कि हम किसी में फॉल्ट्स देखते हैं तो फॉल्ट हमारे में आ जाता है। सो इज इट ओनली रिस्ट्रिक्टेड टू डिवोटीज और अदर्स आल्सो इन मटेरियल पीपल?
Real also, why not? This is the nature of the world actually. See, the world is, they say, no, yeah, reflection. It is an ocean of faults. Kaler dosha nidhe rajan. क्या आप इसमें अच्छा देख पाओगे? दोष ही दोष है। जब कोई भक्ति अपनाता है तो वो उस भक्ति को दूसरों में देख पाता है। जो भक्ति, एक्चुअली वन स्टेटमेंट केम, a devotee can see the other devotee properly. So when we are looking at good quality of that devotee, our devotion is progressing. But when we see fault in other devotee, we are also regressing in the others. Like that. So it's the nature of the world actually. That bad quality clings on us. Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, we'll end with this last statement. Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur told that when I see faults in others, then I understand that I am a honeycomb of faults. Honeycomb मतलब जो भ्रम है, हाँ, honey, इतने छोटे छोटे ये रहते हैं, राइट? इतने सारे फॉल्ट्स मेरे में भरा है, इसलिए मैं दूसरों में फॉल्ट देख रहा हूँ, ऐसे वो बोलते हैं. That's his vision. So great souls see like this. They always see faults in themselves. They always see good in others. हमारा थोड़ा रिवर्स हो जाता है. So we should cultivate that vision of seeing good in others. It can start with simple thing. There are so many honest things. We can just be honest, like, you know, someone has done this setup. Krishna. Very nice. Thank you, Krishna. Someone has done kirtan. Someone has coordinated, right? If we just become little observant, that attitude comes very natural. Then I will not feel that bad feeling towards someone whom I appreciate. So it just requires little honest, little open-mindedness to become appreciative. इतना कंजूस नहीं बनना चाहिए आप बातों में. गुणगान करो. Yes.
His Grace Revtipati Prabhu gave a class. So he gave a class on fault finding only. So he said many topics, and in the end, he gave us an exercise to how to reduce our fault finding. He
Wow.
said, what you should do, you should in one day
Hmm.
glorify one quality of one devotee. Just start doing that, and you will, as you go up, you will reduce your fault finding tendencies. So
परफेक्ट. एक्चुअली जब रात को आप सोने जाते हो तो आप ये याद करो, मैं आज किसको ग्लोरीफाई किया क्या नहीं, मैंने किया तो क्या किया उनके बारे में. कितने लोगों को ग्लोरीफाई किया मैंने, ये थोड़ा ध्यान. क्योंकि उल्टा भी सोच सकते किस क्या कहाँ मैंने गलती दोष देखा किसी और का, है ना. एक तरह का इट्स अ डेली एक्सरसाइज. वेरी नाइस, वेरी गुड, थैंक यू. हरे कृष्णा. श्री रूप गोस्वामी पाद की जय. श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय. So 7th, we will come and take.